John and Christiana. So somebody, John is calling, keeps sending him a voicemail. We find out it's Tara, Christiana's sister, and he leaves her a voicemail, basically threatening her, telling her, he doesn't want his wedding to be, he doesn't want her to come to the wedding, triggering Christiana because she back to her old ways. He don't want Christiana to go back to hers, and he was like, you better not show up, and I think she's on drugs. She better not show up, and if you do show up, I'm done. I'm like, what the hell that mean? Or whatever, you done. I don't know what was up with that or whatever. So he gets to the house, and Christiana pulls up her and her mom, and she tells him, she tried to call Tara, but Tara wasn't answering, and she was like, I know she was unloyal by flirting with my husband. And I'm like, just like you was unloyal by sleeping with hers, but all she did was flirting. Like, don't get me wrong, she was wrong, but you slept with her baby daddy. But each his own. And so the mom said there's so many demons around, and it's obvious that Tara is gone by the demons, and she doesn't want Tara around if the demons gonna have her. She want this Christiana that she has now to stay, and she want, Christiana to stay off the drugs. So if that means staying away from Tara, that's what she need to do. And the mom gets emotional and goes in the house. So John says he wants the wedding to be special, and if Tara shows up clean, then it's fine. But if she doesn't show up, then oh well. Then he gonna say he wish it was something he could do. Like, I'm like you ain't already called and threatened her, and she ain't coming probably because what you said or whatever. So John is over there smoking a Chanopa, I don't remember. And it's a way of sending prayers and smoke form up to the creator. And I don't really know what was going on with this right here, whatever. It was like some like Native American thing, whatever, because I think John is kind of part of Native American. And he said he was doing this prayer because he felt bad for asking Tara not to come to the wedding because behind Christiana's back. And the man was asking him, like, is that the only reason? And he was like, yeah, that's the only reason or whatever. We moved past the Tara thing or whatever. And he said he's nervous that Tara might show up, and the man encourages him to be honest and tell Christiana that you talked to Tara and told her not to come. But of course, he ain't gonna do that. And here we go, Marcelina and Brittany. It was stupid. I don't even know why they had them in the beginning. They got back home, and Marcelina is like, everything happening tonight was stupid, and he was done with the argument, and he slams the door to the patio, and Brittany jumps in the pool fully clothed and smoking and running around in the pool. I guess she was still drunk or whatever. And he comes back out and said he wasn't mad at her. He was scared of how she flipped out. And she agreed that she handled everything. She didn't handle everything correctly, but everything was piling up. And he tells her that he loved her, and she has changed his life. He never wants to lose her. So the kids, they kissed and make up, and Brittany has come a long way, and she feels like she failed with losing that money, and it's weighing on her. So Brittany and Ray. Brittany is asking Ray if he want to go to the fertility doctor with her, and he feels like there is nothing wrong with them, but she wants to be sure. So they arrived at the fertility clinic, and she says, they've been having sex since he got out of jail, and he hasn't gotten her pregnant yet. But she may know what the problem is because she's keeping a secret. She said if he finds out, he may not trust her again. They asked this bitch how long it's been since they've been trying to conceive, and she said 2 months. And I'm like, girl, you were saying like y'all had been trying to conceive for like a year or 9 months or something. 2 months, girl, go ahead. And they asked if she was ever pregnant. She said she was pregnant 13 years ago with an ectopic pregnancy, and they had to remove one of her tubes. And she said she don't talk about it because it's traumatizing to her. And Ray asked her what did they do, and she said she was 19, rushed to the hospital, and they had to remove one of the fallopian tubes. He said he a little mad she kept that from him because when he was in prison, that's all he thought about was his future and having at least 3 or 4 kids. And he doesn't understand why she hid the truth from him, knowing it would come out eventually. And I'm like, she was saying she was keeping a secret like it was a bad secret. I mean, like it was something bad, and it really wasn't. It was something that you couldn't control. I mean, you should have told him, but it wasn't like nothing that bad. And so he doesn't understand why she didn't tell him the truth. And she asked him, what if she can't have a baby? And he said, let's see what the doctor says, and we go from there. So the doc comes in with a diagram demonstrating, what happened with, the fallopian tubes. And he says he only need 1 tube to conceive, but he has to check her other tube to see what the state it is in. And she asked about her age. She was like, because I'm 33, what does that look like for me? Because I'm not getting, I'm getting older. And he says, the chance of getting pregnant is low because of your age. And at a younger age, it's basically better to get pregnant. But, right now you're at a low risk of getting pregnant. And Ray's eyes lighten up. And when he said that, Ray said it would hurt him if she couldn't get pregnant. And here she is talking about, you see why I'm rushing and pushing this? Because we on a timeline. So now should you understand? I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't understand why she want to get pregnant so fast. They ain't married. He ain't got his life together. He only been out of jail 2 months. Like, Brittany want everything. I guess she want a baby before anything or whatever. And my opinion, like, have it together before you had kids, because I got 2 of them. Now, I made it because mine's 14 and 19, but, it's hard. So, have your stuff together, because you do want to pick the right husband. Not even husband. Everybody will want to have a husband when they have kids, but, pick the right person. Make sure you pick the right person before you start having kids with them. But in my situation, you don't know how that person really is until you had a kid with them. But, that was the end of that review. Sorry that went left. But anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Bye.